Hello, guys. Welcome to the Wings Mobile Detailing Podcast. In this episode, I'm talking to you guys about what does it actually mean to always agree with your customer. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody tells you something that it's not actually right, it's not actually the truth, and you have to explain to them how the right way is, and you feel like you have to go against and not agree with them? And there are a lot of cases that this may happen, not only in business, not only when you're trying to sell somebody something, in relationships, in life, family. Every time you have to sell somebody on your idea or on the right idea. And one of the first rule to selling somebody is always agree with your client, and your client can be anyone. Now, this podcast is for you if you're one of those people who go against this, who say, oh no, my client is wrong. I'm not going to agree with him if he's wrong. That's why you got to change a little bit of your mentality. Listen to this podcast with an open mind. And because then you're going to see that it's not the customer is always right. It's always agree with your client. And take that as your responsibility. If you want to persuade somebody to something, if you want to make them understand something, you're selling them something. And when you're selling them something, you have to use this rule of always agreeing and take responsibility that everything happens because of you and not to you. Stay with the introduction.
Welcome to the Wings Mobile Detailing Business and Automotive Podcast, the only podcast that will guide you on how to start and grow six-figure companies. As our team expand from one business location to worldwide domination, you will get step-by-step insights from a millennial franchisor and franchise owner with your host, Andre Mezzalera.
Oftentimes people, especially those who are a little bit away from the sales realm of business, they're gonna come out with a customer that has kind of some weird requests, no matter what type of request that they have or something that they should have already known, but they don't, and they kind of complain to you about something that they were supposed to know but they don't, and you, as you're trying to persuade somebody to agree with your idea, you bring out a negative response to them. Either by saying the word no, like you can't do that, or you're trying to explain to them the reason why they are wrong on something. And that never results in anything positive. You're never going to get anything out of a conversation, of an encounter with a customer, with your loved one, with your peers, if you try to explain how they are wrong. This is different, even though you see that their reasoning for a problem that they are having is actually wrong, but you don't ever want to go against it. You want to take full responsibility to solving that problem, to explain it to the client. And the best way to use examples, aside from relationship as well, is actually on the business world itself. And this is what I can personally talk better about, is in the business. And in an example, if a customer is like coming to you, giving you a phone call, that happens a lot with me, and they start wanting to do the price negotiation. It can be with anything, but they're doing it with price negotiation. They want to pay a certain price, and you're set on that. No, I want to pay this price for your service, and I don't care what it is. Just do this price for you. And what would you say if you know you cannot do that price? What are you gonna say? The first thing that pop in your head to get out of the situation? Are you gonna tell him, assuming that you want that deal, or assuming you just wanted to have a positive vibe with the client, because that's what you want to do? At the end of the day, you don't want to have any you don't want to represent yourself as a negative person. And you could very well say, no, we can't do that. No, that's wrong. I can't offer you that price. I mean, come on. You're trying to persuade to bring out a positivity out of this, and saying no. Imagine your customer is thinking that he is right. He's on the right to ask you that. And trying to buy your services, and you come to him and say, no, that's impossible. You start knocking heads with him. What good comes out of it? He's only going to have a more negative perception on you. So instead of saying, no, I can't do that. No, sir, this is impossible. You can say something else. You can always agree with your customer. And by always agree, it's not you saying, yes, I can do this price for you. Yes, I can do this for you. That's not what always agree means. always agree simply means that you say yes to them. You say, yes, I'll be happy to do the price for you. Yes, I'll be happy to get what you're looking for, sir. Always with a smile on your face. Or if you're in a phone call, you always stay with a positive energy. As put in your mind, your customer, always agree with your customer. And if you want to go a different route and put in your mind, if you have trouble thinking that, always put in your mind, try to get your mind used to thinking your customer is always right. He's right. He's right. I gotta make this right. He's right. So if you put that in your mind, even though they may not be right, but if you put that in your mind and instill that deep inside of you, and you client comes with something ridiculous, a ridiculous request, and you can say, yes, sir, I'm happy to get this service to you. I'm happy to do this price for you. This is what you can get with this price that you are telling me that you wanted. This is a service that we have. It's going to take this amount of hours, and you tell them the benefits of the service. I'll be happy to get to this price quote. It's just that we may have to work around the type of service that you're looking for to reach your budget, so that you're not overspending, so that we're inside your budget and you're still happy at the end of the day. And obviously you're going to have to change the service there, and they can be brutal on you. They can be firm that they want that's what they want, and you always bring the yes, the positive vibe. You always agree with them this way, by not saying yes, we can do that price for you, but instead by saying, yes, I'll be happy to get this done for you. And I have a situation done before, and this is the only way you can test yourself if you're doing this really well, if you're getting this to the tip, is when somebody's actually pushing on the limit with you. And I'm not saying, just give yourself out, just don't let people wear you out. There's no such thing. Nobody can outburn you. Nobody can wear you out. Always agreeing goes deep. It goes really deep. If there's a situation, as an example, that I had many customers called me before, but there are situations where the client is actually really firm, really strong, and they come up with a ridiculous price that they want to pay, ridiculously low price. I'm just using the price as an example, but you guys have to understand what the agree means. And he says that he wants to pay half of the price for what the service actually is priced at. And he wants to do service with me. He wants my service because my service is quality service. And he very well known that there are other companies there that they actually do a less quality service in a way, but obviously for a much cheaper price. A cheaper service, cheaper price, So he's very, very, very aware of that there are other companies they offer. But he was firm on me. I was like, I told him, hey man, hey sir, this is our service. This is what it costs. I'm firm with them. This is our service. This is what it costs. I did not decrease a penny on the price on the service. I was always agreeing with the customer, but I did not decrease a penny because I don't want to devalue. You don't want to devalue your service. And there's a whole different podcast on prices as well, if you guys scroll down the list. And I simply told them about the service, but he kept on going. He was like, no, I want to pay, if a service costs $200, he wanted to pay $80 for the service. He's like, no, I want to pay $80. This is what I got. I got cash in hands. Sometimes they come with that. I got cash to pay, as if there's something different as they pay you with. I don't understand. But still, I got cash in hands. It's $80. I know I'm not getting the client. I actually don't want that type of client. I don't want to service that client because there's usually always problems with people like that. But still, you always want to be agreeable. Why? Because I have instilled in my mind that the customer is always right. And I want to finish that encounter with a positive interaction. Sometimes it's impossible to reach that. You don't want to waste your time. But I still answer him with a positive attitude. I said, yes, I'm happy to find, to get you to that price range that you're looking for close to this type of service. Our service does cost this amount of money, but I can, as soon as we hang up the phone, I can send you a text message with the other company that they offer the service on the price that you're looking for. They offer what he's looking for is price. It seems like what he was looking for is more cheap price than the actual service. So I was like, I'm, in my mind, happy to get that to you. See how I always agreed? Even though in a way I cut him off, I wasn't trying to be ironic, But sometimes you have to watch out yourself for that, because again, your customer is right. But I told him, hey, happy to get on the service. This is what you needed your card done about. And I'm happy to get this other company to you. I'm going to send their information. They can get the price to you. But this customer in particular, he actually at the end of the conversation, he realized that, he was losing me. He was losing my company, my services. So he actually started to make sense of my price and try to actually, get my service anyways. And I end up selling him in particular. He wanted my, but in this middle of this conversation, you see the example that I used. Many people, when the client gets to this point of saying, no, I want to pay half, I want to pay 1/3 of the price for this service, and they are trying to be firm and try to buy you out with their attitude, with their strong attitude, you're still positive. You still have a smile on your face. You're not decreasing and devaluing your service, but you're still positive. You're still agreeing. And you're not, again, I'm going to say this again. By agreeing, you're not being that person who, yeah, I'll do it for you, and then you charge him half price and you do it and you say yes because you're going to do the service. No, by agreeing, again, you're simply saying yes and providing what they need. But see, I'm not providing what he wants. I'm sending another company to provide what he needs. And to many people, they may think that people can, if you're this type of person who always agree, who has this actually skills, or I say, you can call whatever this is. And many people around you, if you're one of these people who has this instill in you, this ability, this actual skill to always agree with your customer, you're the one who probably get what you want. And again, this is not about, you get what I want, in a good sales, both people get what they want. They are both winning. But many people around you, if you're one of these people who always agree and is good at this, you may have people around you who think that you're a type of guy who is easy to manipulate. Because you're always agreeing, you always have that smile on your face, and they think that you're the type of person who always give in to what other people want and not what you want. But you see how this is the opposite? You always agreeing with your customer. You're in the same side as he is, and he thinks that you're in the same side as he is. But you have to put in your head that you're in the same side, and that people may think, I'm gonna actually take advantage. It may look like you're a type of person who is easy to be taken advantage of, when in reality you're on the same side as they are, because you made that happen and you're agreeing with them. But did you sell your service to the lower price? No, you did not do that. Did you give in anything? No, you simply make the whole encounter positive. And I'm not talking about customer now, I'm talking about family, friends, relationship. This applies to everything in life. And if you're like that with your friends who are agreeable, you respect your time, you respect your prices, you respect your services, meaning you're not devaluing any part of you. You can already predict what's going to happen in the sale, and you can already cut that short. But by cutting it short, you're still agreeing. You're closing the funnel by agreeing with the customer. If you're the other type of person who is kind of in a little bit ignorant type of person who wants to go against the customer and thinks, the customer is wrong, I'm right, it doesn't make sense, what is it thinking? You don't want to be spoiled like that. But if you're that type of person, normally what's going to happen, you guys are going to get into an argument. You want to argue with him to tell him that you are right and he's wrong. And you open that funnel, it's going to get wider and it's going to get harder to get out of the conversation. Now, you're devaluing your time because you're wasting your time to try to prove that you're right and he's wrong. And now he's actually using you because he's wasting all of your time. Even though this is going to end in a negative encounter and everything, he's going to think he's right, you're going to think you're right, everything, and he wasted your time. Now, if you went the other way, in a more wise way, agreeing with your customer, he may think, he's easy to be used. He's the type of guy who just goes with anything. And it may seem like that, but actually, that's when you're respecting your time. That's when you're not allowing your peers, whoever it is, You're not allowing them to use you, to use your time, because you already predict what's going to happen in that certain conversation that you're trying to persuade the person to, or make them understand. And you're cutting it short, agreeing. You're out of the conversation soon because you put yourself on the same side as they are, and they think they are above. You see, the wise man is the one who's usually quiet on their own, and they're more the quiet guy, where the less wise man is the one with the big mouth that talks a lot and they think he's right. And when a wise man is dealing with a big mouth person who always wants to put themselves above and always wants to be in the right position, the way the wise man deals with that, aside from always agreeing, is at the end of the conversation, the wise man is still gonna left the ignorant big mouth guy thinking that he's right. He's gonna think he's still right, that he earned you. But in reality, in the actual results, no, you got your time back. You agree with them. You let the person be ignorant on their own, but you're still okay on top of your game. You're not worried about the conversation anymore. You move on. You're quiet on your own way, and the big mouth unwise guy is gonna kid himself thinking that he's right, and so he's gonna repeat the same thing over and over again and thinking that he's getting what he wants until he learns the lesson the hard way. Now, but this is about agreeing, and I can go through hundreds of examples on what it actually means to agree with your customers, but the idea of what it is actually mean to agree and not the customer is always right has to be instilled in your mind, and whatever encounter that you have with anybody, know that. And if it takes time, and if you're having difficulties doing this, then put in your mind, the customer is right. He's always right. He's right. So that's going to actually make it better for you, even though it's not. But it's going to make it better for you to accept the idea that they are, that you have to agree with them. One other example is, besides them want their way, is when sometimes you're doing a service for a client, and you've already talked to them previously of what that service is going to consist of. You already spoke to them. You already were very clear with them of what the customer is going to be getting from you, and then you show up on a sales process, and then the customers start going complete the opposite direction once again, even though you're very clear with them, and they go the opposite direction, requesting stuff complete the opposite of what you can actually provide to them, or a ridiculous price, or something sometimes it's something very minor that they want, and you're there and you feel like you want to say, but I told you that. Well, you're getting this because we already talked about it. Hey, we already talked about this. This is negative. This is negative. This is not you always agreeing with your clients, and you're not gonna get nowhere. You're gonna be used by your customer. You're gonna waste your time, and you're just not gonna win anything like that. And take responsibility again to everything that happens. If you already told the client that the thing of taking responsibility for reactions is a huge thing of understanding what it actually means to agree with people. Taking responsibility to everything that happens, thinking that everything that is happening right here is because of you. The customer doesn't know, even though you told them hundreds of times, but he doesn't know what this consists of because you didn't tell him enough. That is taking full responsibility of the actions. That is, you thinking that way is you having that mentality that everything happens because of you and not to you. And then you go and explain to him again in a better way. See how I'm taking responsibility? Oh, maybe I explained to him wrong. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. I'm not, and then I'm not going to go against him and think, oh, I already explained this to you. You're supposed to know this already. No, dude, no. This is you were trying to persuade a client. You're trying to get to him. He's your customer. You gotta provide to him. Take responsibility. Anything that happens because of you, not to you, not against you. The world is there. Whatever you do in life happens because of you. And if you have this type of mentality, not only you're gonna excel in agreeing with your client, you're gonna excel in selling, and you're gonna live happier overall because this is all connected. You're going to live happier overall because you're going to see that it's not somebody else's fault that this is happening to you. You're not going to be whining and crying because somebody else did this to you, and you're always going to live like a victim. See how this is all connected. everything. Sales, that's why it's amazing. That's why agreeing is a very important aspect of you winning, of you getting your way, and of you not wasting your time.